Shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, I'd like to start off with giving all honor, glory, infinite praise and worship to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Hey, first and foremost, double honors to our apostles, our elders, great millstone, we will teach and sound doctrine. Shalom to the hopeful elect and the rest of the large multitude of men and children that the Lord will have mercy on these last days. It's your brother Kadash, representing GMS branch here in Cleveland, Lord willing, to bring out an edifying lesson through the spirit and power of YAHWAH. Hey, title is Zombie Companies, Big Bang Take Little Bang. All right, short, stop. Back up. Shalaki. Zombie companies, Big Bang Take Little Bang. Okay. A zombie company. All right. A zombie company. I'm gonna pull this up. First, let's start off with a precept. All right. Let's go to second Esdras 15. Let's start at 8. It says 7. Therefore said the Lord Yahawah, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things, in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. And they were doing this on a daily basis, by prophesying, by praying, by fasting. This is the ways we cry out unto the Lord. Okay, and when they persecute us and they murder us, hey, relax. Our blood is crying from the ground because we're going back to the heavens, or our spirits are returning to the Father, and we're telling the Father, what just happened, man. Even though He knows, but we're complaining unto Him, man. Like, you see what He just did, man. It says, and therefore said the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among men. From among them, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. And this is where we're currently at. We're currently in the spiritual Egypt. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations of it. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting in hell and with the fearful constellation. So yeah, Egypt is getting, this is what the Lord is doing. He's putting a notice on Babylon the Great, all right, and the rest of the world, and the whole earth is mourning, mainly Babylon the Great, because this is going to be, well, I should say mainly this is the focus, which is the red, white, and blue. And we're now seeing the people in mourning, man. We saw the one video of the one lady where we saw the one video of one lady. She's an Edomite, you know what I mean? And she was like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? She was complaining. She was crying out. You see what I'm saying? Because she's never been in a position where she had to choose, make life decisions at the gas pump, like us Jakes, man. So the people are mourning, man. They're crying out, man, for a change. And everybody's feeling the effect of society, man. Let me read this. A zombie company, right? Because I've often mentioned this. I brought this out once in a lesson. Well, a few lessons, various, but never did a lesson on it. But so this is zombie companies, all right? A zombie company. What's a zombie company? It's a term used to describe an uncompetitive company that needs a bailout to operate successfully, or an indebted company that is only able to repay interest on its debts. Okay? That meaning firms that are unable to cover debt service costs from current profits for an extended period, right? Companies who earn just enough money to continue operating and to service debt. Okay, that's why, and it's but in reality they are unable to pay off their debt. Okay, so basically they're companies who took on loans from higher end companies or higher banks or central banks. Let's see what they can. What is a central bank? It says the Federal Reserve is a central bank in the United States. Let's see. What is this? What is the central bank? Central bank is a public institution that is responsible for implementing monetary policy, managing the currency of a country or a group of countries, and controlling the money supply. Right, and that's the ultimate goal. Big bank take little bank, because what you're gonna realize is that these banks like Huntington, PNC, all these random banks, Chase. Okay, whatever bank you could think of, these are little banks. So these little banks are owned by higher banks or central bank. Okay, the central bank, which you have a main bank and then you have banks up under it. It's like a franchise. McDonald's, why you see so many McDonald's all across the world? Because McDonald's is a franchise, which means that you can buy into it and have a form of the original all over the world. And that's what these little banks are. They're smaller banks that represent a bigger bank. Okay? They represent a bigger bank, which is why if you go to your local bank, they don't have all the money in that bank. You go trying to, and I'm not talking about now, obviously now, but I'm talking about even when banks was at its highest peak, and the banks don't carry a lot of money in the banks. Okay? It has to come from somewhere else, showing you that again that these smaller banks are just modules, or they're just show fronts for what the real corporation. It mimics what the real corporation does, and which is what you go to the bank to control your assets, to control your money, right? So big bank take little bank. So a zombie company, okay, which these banks are, they're going to be put out of business. And what Esau's trying to do is he's trying to go to what? Central bank. Make it one central bank where all people go to. All right, and that be what you do anyways, and you just don't know it. But in a sense of knowing where all these other banks are eliminated, and it's controlled by one entity, if you will, or more, or two or three entities instead of hundreds of entities, hundreds banks and different things all over across the board, man. So the bigger bank is going to overtake the little bank. Okay, and because these banks are zombie companies, if the banks like Chase and PNC are zombie companies, that means that what? That the jobs you have are zombie companies, like these Dollar Generals and these different stores that's across the board. All right, you have a lot of these stores that are funded by loans, that have loans attached to them. All right, random Subways and so forth. Okay, so which means is that we saw a glimpse of that when the Slimming first hit. That when everything shut down, you had a lot of people closing their doors. Because why? Because they were zombie companies. They were backed by loans. So if which means they couldn't no longer pay the loan back, which means they had to close their door. They had to close up shop. I'm talking about popular names that you like, dang man, I love that spot. Wonder why they closed. Even though it was a popular name, they had to close because they was backed by a loan. And that's what these smaller banks are. They're backed by loans in a sense. They're backed by they have something over it, which is these central banks. So that's what a zombie company is. This is what is a big bank take little bank term? It says the person with more assets gains all assets or a game in which whoever has more money takes all. Right. So the person with more assets gains all assets of the one who has lesser. Okay. That's what a big bank take little bank is. So when you go, let's go here. Let's go real quick. Let me just get a couple scriptures. We're gonna close out. It don't have to be long. Psalms, so like 135. Go straight to the point. Psalms 135 and 15. The idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the work of man's hands. Okay, so another reason why the Lord is doing this is because what? One, because our people uphold to the ways of the heathen. And one of the ways of the heathen is worshiping money. You know what I'm saying? Worshiping money. Let me do it like this. What does it say on a dollar bill? It says this. We all know what it say. And God they trust. And this, obviously this is not talking about Yahawah, YAHAWASHI. This is talking about the God which they serve. YAHAWASHI said it himself out of his own mouth. He said, "Man, you should not worship man, you should not worship." Let's just get it real quick because I don't want to butcher it. So like I got a lot of tabs open, man. You cannot worship God and mammon. All right, this is Matthew 6. This is just quicker to get. This is Matthew 6, and it says, let's go 24. If it'll come up, saying there you go, working. Matthew 6 and 24. No, man. Shalaki, bro. You know how it go. Matthew 6. Let's get it here, man, because that was the new KJV. This is Matthew 6 and 24. It says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. You can't serve the Most High. Mammon. I did a lesson on this on the late night. Mammon is refers to money. Okay, when we really go into it, Mammon was a Syrian deity, which the deity was the god, or was a deity of money or deity of riches. So Yahawashi was saying, I wish they had a red letter on here, but it's cool. Yahawashi was saying you can't serve the Most High and the things that you possess. You're gonna have to choose between the other. When Yahawashi was talking to the young man in Matthew 19, he said, "Hey, follow." He told him to keep the laws and everything. The young man said, "What lack I yet?" And he said, "Well, sell all." The first thing he said, second thing he said to him was, "Sell all that ye have." You see, because that shows whether or not you're for the Lord, giving up the things of this world to gain a greater riches, which eyes cannot see, which that means you have faith in Yahawashi Yahawashi. Okay, because what people attach to in this world? Their riches, their possessions. People bury themselves with their favorite brush. People bury themselves with their favorite Jordans. You got niggas making their children passing away. You got niggas having people fix their body up, putting their favorite outfit on, and putting their like I saw one where the dude was his dead body. It was his actual body. They had him set up like he was playing the game with hot Cheetos next to him, man. Bug the hell out, man. People value their possessions in this life more than the Most High, man. That's why when you jump up 20, but lay up for yourselves treasure in heaven, whether neither moth. Let me start at 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where neither moth nor rust do corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart, your mind be also. Whatever you meditate upon and whatever you think upon and whatever you focus on, that's where your heart would be, man. Your mind would be. Okay, so yeah, man. So you can't serve the Most High in riches. Okay, you have to detach from the wealth of this society. because it's attached to another god, man. Okay, it says Psalms 135 and 15. The idols of the heathen are silver and gold, the work of man's hands. You see, so these are the things that the heathens are attached to, man. You know, when you go to Isaiah, what's going to happen in the last day? Isaiah, type that in. Isaiah 31. Let's get Isaiah 31. It says, Isaiah 31:7, for in that day every man shall cast away his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which your own hands have made unto you for a sin. So the people, what they obtain in this life, and what they lean upon when you go to, what's that, Sirach 27? I think I had that pulled up actually. Yeah, Sirach 27 and 1 in the Good News translation. It says, many people have sinned while looking for a profit. If you want to be rich, you have to keep blinders on your eyes. So if you want to be rich in Esau society, you got to keep a blind eye. You got to act like you didn't see it. You got to keep your mouth shut, right? And that's how he bribed you. Esau you might not be with that funny business, but he put something in your drink and he got you on video doing the whoop-de-wop. And then now he's blackmailing you, and he's, you know, talking about he gonna expose you. All right, this, that, and the third. And now you got to turn a blind eye, man, instead of standing up. You know, taking that nigga down, man. You see? So many people have sinned while looking for a profit, man. Many people have done things, what they say, do something strange for a piece of change, man. Many people have done crazy, crazy things for a profit. So these idols and the gold, they are made unto you for a sin. They keep you in idolatry. They keep you in wickedness. People kill it. One story a couple of years ago, the dude killed his mom for $50,000, man. That nigga probably blew that in one night. Remember on what's that? Not roll bounce, but lottery ticket. That nigga Bow Wow, the dude had loaned him the money and he burnt. I think he blew 100 G's in one day. That nigga wasn't gonna do nothing with that 50,000. He didn't invest that. He didn't flip that. And bro, he had no good intentions with that. He just wanted to he wanted to just dwell in sin with that money, man. And then he killed his own mom for it, man. You see, this is what we're facing, man. This is what the Lord is getting ready to expose to the people, that all your gain was ill-gotten. All your gain was a vanity, man. This is Isaiah 2:20. In that day, a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself, to worship, to the moles and to the bats, to go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks, for the fear of YAHAWASHI. This is the result, because you know what I'm saying, because of the, you know what I'm saying, the ill-gotten gains, the Lord, you're gonna in that day fearfulness shall surprise the hypocrites. The fear of the Lord is gonna come upon you. I mean, the wrath of the Lord is gonna come upon you, and for the glory of his majesty when he arises to shake terribly the earth. You see, cease ye from man whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? See, the Lord is about to shake terribly the earth, man. Okay, and that's why you see these zombie companies. That's why you see these big banks taking little banks. Okay, because the one again, what's in the news is what SVB. All right, this is one of the 16 largest banks in the U.S. Okay, it says why. It says what caused the SVB to collapse. It says the collapse happened for multiple reasons, including a lack of diversification in the classic bank run. See, this is what they're not telling you. What they did was they sent out something to like investors, and when they sent it out to the investors, word got out, and people started to do bank runs. That's where the bank run started, because if it even was a bank run, but you know how the story go. But it was a bank run because word got out of what was spread about to these different investors, man. Okay, which I believe is called the FDIC, if I'm not mistaken. Which when we went into that before, now what they did back when the 2008 happened, they changed. They wanted to so-called protect the people, because the so-called people was affected. So what they did was they changed it from bailouts to bail-ins, and a bail-in is now let me see if I can pull this up. A bail-in. I'm gonna show you something real quick. This is from Investopedia. Damn, Shalaki. Investopedia. All right. Why bank bail-ins will be the new bailouts. Let me just read the highlights. I don't gotta. You could just check this article. I'll put it out a few times, but you could check it out on your own. It's key takeaways. Big banks were deemed too big to fail following the financial crisis of '08, resulting in government bailouts at the expense of taxpayers. Right. The people. Financial reforms usher in with the Dodd-Frank Act, which is the eliminated bailouts and opened the door for bail-ins. Bail-ins allow banks to convert debt into equity. Like, how the hell you do that? To increase their capital requirements. They shift the risk to unsecured creditors, including depositors whose account balances exceed the FDIC limit of 250. So these people, the wealthy gonna feel it, man. And you think these niggas gonna want to take the fall for the rest of the world, man? I think not, man. You know. So we about to see a lot of lawlessness happen on the earth. And again, it's starting with these zombie companies, as you see on the screen. These zombie companies, man. What I told you earlier, which are basically companies that are unable to cover debt servicing costs from the current profits for an extended period. That's why you had a lot of shutdowns when the Slam Simic first hit, and that's why you see these banks failing. That's why you see, because they're being loaned. Like I said in the beginning of the video, and as I broke it down in the beginning, the companies are you got something called, like I brought out, central bank, which are loaning these different smaller banks like Chase and PNC. They're loaning them to them. That's why they're closed. They're gonna close, bro. There's not gonna be no more Chases and Huntingtons and all that, bro, in the near future. You're gonna have central bank, the Federal Reserve, which controls everything out of one system, out of one what is the word? Out of one foundation, instead of a lot of franchises, if you will, man. Okay. Hey, Shalom, Mark. YAHAWASHI. Shalom. All right. Yeah. So that was Isaiah 2, man. I just want to get a couple more. Let me just grab this real quick because this came to mind. Job 18 and 21, and then we're gonna close out. It says, "Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not the Most High." This is the place, Babylon. This place don't know the Most High. You see, they don't know the Most High, man. That's why it's called Babylon, because it's the place of confusion, man. You know, and when you have confusion, you don't have a system, which means that you have no order, which then means what comes after that: death, failing, okay, corruption, etc., etc., etc. Because when you go to let me just grab this real quick, since I want to close it, James, but let me grab this real quick. 47. This is Genesis 47 and 15. It says, "And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence, for the money faileth?" So remember, this is Egypt all over again. The Lord said, I started off with 2 Kings 15. The Lord said he would bring plagues upon Egypt as before. This also was one of those plagues, as well as the things that happened, all right, during our Exodus, man. You know? So the money is what you see right now. What you see happening in the earth is you see the money failing. That's what you see in the earth right now. The money is failing, man. Okay. So now you're gonna have a lot of things happening from this. Oh, matter of fact, oh damn, I almost forgot. Let me play this real quick. I meant to play this in the beginning of the video. Damn it, man. You know, Jake got a low attention span. So hey, if you caught it, you caught it. If you don't, you don't. I just want to play this real quick. I gotta show it though, because it's not. They don't say them out loud, so bear with me. All right. Let me show this real quick. Matter of fact, I don't even have to have no sound. So basically what this is, it says 30, look, it's 30 companies tied directly to SVB, the bank crash. It's 30 companies, man. All right. Let's see if I can show this on the screen. Come on now. All right. See, DoorDash, TikTok, whatever that is. See, all these companies, and a lot of people doing DoorDash. Hey, my rib made a beautiful point. She said it's crazy because if you really think about it, all these companies was pushing it real heavy, and they had Jake at the forefront. Hey, like, because she was like, hey, you know how the DoorDash commercials is. I've made more than I've ever made. You know what I'm saying? They hyping it up. It was all by design, man. Instacart and all these quick these microwave, you know what I'm saying? It was all by design. So that when a system crash, you're deprived and you have no choice but to comply to how Esau was going to bring in his new system. And then also now Elon Musk says he's open to the idea of buying crisis hit Silicon Valley Bank and turning Twitter into a digital bank. Okay, so that's also in the news, man. Okay, Elon Musk, and Elon Musk was the first one to push out at a rapid rate Neuralink, man, which is the C hip in the mind, man. You see, he was one of the first ones to do that. So let's close with James 5. It says misuse of riches. Let me read it in NLT. Look here, you rich people, weep and groan with anguish because of all the terrible troubles ahead of you. Right, you rich people, because that's who will benefit from all the crash, the fall of society, man. Wars and things are created so that the rich get richer, man. It says your wealth is rotting away and your fine clothes are moth-eaten rags. Your gold and silver have become worthless. The very wealth, because it's not going to matter about the new system as well either. It's going to be worthless in the day of the Lord. You're not going to be able to buy salvation. You're not going to be able to save yourself by the physical and the carnal aspects of treasure, man. Your spirit have to be rich. It says your gold and silver have become worthless. The very wealth you were counting on will eat away your flesh like fire. And this goes for 2/3 of our people as well, because I read Isaiah 2. I read Psalms 135. They're going to cast their gold in the streets, all right, because the same gold that added sin unto them, as it said, because they're going to realize that it's not going to profit them in that day. Okay. Esau give you liquor and access of wine on every store corner so that you could drink your sorrows away, as well as cigarettes and drugs. But when those things are deprived, when the weed man and the drug lord is not pushing weight no more because society is low, nobody's able to buy, etc., and different things as such. You know what I'm saying? Hey, nigga, you're gonna see a lot of lawless break-ins, home invasions, family turning against each other. These are the things the scriptures talk about all throughout the scriptures. All the prophetic scriptures go into a day of lawlessness, man. A day of what it say? What it say? Salakia. A day of lawlessness, and it say friends hating each other like enemies, man. It says this treasure you have accumulated will stand will stand as evidence against you on the day of the judgment. Right. So that's why you're not gonna be able to buy your way out. And this all again, this goes for the same people that join hand in hand with this nigga, man. For listen, hear the cries of the field workers, which are the people, which were mainly us, whom you have cheated of their pay. Right. And that's a whole nother lesson. The wages you held back cry out against you. The cry is because he has gotten everything by ill-gotten gains, man. All right, vanity. His right hand, Psalms 144, his songs, and verse 8 and verse 11. His right hand is the right hand of falsehood, man. It says the cries of those who who harvest your fields have reached the ears of the Lord's of YAHAWASHI of heaven's army. You see, you have spent your years, and remember this is the NLT. You have spent your years on the earth in luxury, satisfying your every desire. You have fattened yourselves for the day of slaughter. And that's all it was for. The scriptures say, the Lord have created the wicked for the day of evil. You have condemned and killed innocent people who do not resist you, who do not resist you, man. So, hey, man, hey, that's it on that, man. You know, let's go. Let's get this last word of canker. It says, damn, I went past this lucky. Cankered, to rust over, to cover a rust. You know, to cover with rust. It says poison of asps is under their lips. Spoken of men giving to reviling and calumniating and thereby injuring others. Rust, his poison, his fiat currency and his money system, his wealth is poison. So when you uphold to his wealth and the way you can only maintain a living in this society, therefore you are bitten of that poison. You are overtaken by that poison. And it's a show. I'm not gonna play it for the sake of the video. But it's a show called G.I. Joe that came out in 1985. And they did a predictive programming in that show where the dude was talking about the cash is worthless. He let the cash blow in the wind. And the main guy with no face, which is supposed to be the GOV, all right, government, all right, was telling them what was about to come in the future. All right, and everybody money started to burn and disappear in their hands. And he said the new currency will be the Cobra currency. All right, and the Cobra is a snake. So there you have it, man. This snake, this serpent that was in the garden, who's translated or who've grown into a dragon, which is still a serpent. He's a bigger serpent. All right, you go to the etymology of serpent, it means it goes into a bigger dragon, who transferred himself into a bigger dragon by his philosophies, his doctrines, and the things that he pushed. He has got greater. His sorcery, he's the ultimate wizard, the grand wizard. All right, it has reached its peak. He's bitten the people and with his form of currency, and he's going to solidify that poison, that venom, with that tiny technology that's going to spearhead his new world if he get his hands on it. But the Lord's going to stop his belly. He's going to stop him from eating. All right, wait, before he can get full. All right. So there you have it, man. Zombie companies, big bank take little bank. All right. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm gonna just show you this. I'm not gonna play it. The Cobra coin. All right, the Cobra coin. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it. Again, his poisonous venom, and the people are delusional off his poison, man. They're running wild to the point they can't do nothing without that venom, man. They're addicted to it, man. You know, when they get off of the poison of Esau, they have withdrawals. That's how you know you only can have the spirit when it comes to detaching from Esau's venom. Okay, it's that deadly, man. It's that deadly. You know, so hey, Lord willing is edifying. I want to give honor, glory, infinite praise, and worship to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH. Double honors again to our apostle, it was a great millstone who will teach you on sound doctrine, strong shalom, to the hopeful elect and the rest of the large multitude of men, women, and children. Let the Lord have mercy on these last days. Again, your brother Kadash. Till next time, Bible Ball, a shalom. DTA, man, soon. DTA, soon, man.